Hello students, now I am going with this part B, multiple choice questions of IC engine. Part 1 I have already posted. Okay, so here we will start from question number 31 and again genuine questions, and again you can go through this activity, means check out your level by marking yourself. For each correct answer award 1, incorrect answer award 0, and then at the end find out how much you have gained. Now question 31. The inlet valve of an IC engine is normally kept bigger in size compared to that of exhaust valve because it improves the homogeneity of the air-fuel mixture, it enhances the volumetric efficiency, it enhances the lubrication of the valves, it enhances the life of the valve. What could be the correct answer? The correct answer is it enhances the volumetric efficiency of engine. It means what? That when the suction stroke executes, then the amount of volume the piston voids, that is called a strut volume, the same amount doesn't get enter inside cylinder. Some vacuum is always left, especially when piston moves in a very fast fashion. So in case the inlet valve is smaller, then it will be a sort of resistance in the path of fluid flow, means charge wants to go inside, however the path is smaller, the hole is smaller. So if the inlet valve is bigger, then that resistance lowers down, so it enhances the volumetric efficiency. More amount of charge can be sucked inside fastly when the suction stroke executes. What is the firing order of four-cylinder engine? Four-cylinder means 1, 2, 3, 4. We must think that in all the four cylinders, suction, compression, working, exhaust, these strokes are executing, but not in parallel fashion. Means in some cylinders, suction is executing at the same time, some cylinder compression executing in at the same time, in some cylinder exhaust is executing like this. All the cylinders doesn't work parallelly, means parallelly, suction parallelly, compression parallelly, working not like that. Okay. So firing order means what? That when spark is introduced after compression, then the spark is introduced in cylinder first, and then working stroke is executed, and then it is introduced in cylinder 2, then 3, then 4, or 1 3 2 4, or 1 3 4 2, or 2 3 4 1, like this. What could be the correct answer? The correct answer is 1 3 4 2. So this is what the firing order of a four cylinder engine. Nowadays, firing order of a six cylinder inline engine. Inline engine means what? 1 2 3 4 5 6, like this. Six cylinders are there in a line. So what is the firing order? So these are the options: 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 3 2 4 5 6, 1 5 3 6 2 4, 1 4 3 6 2 5. Answer is 1 5 3 6 2 4. Okay, 153 624. You can mug up like this. What is the firing order of a six-cylinder V6 engine? V6 engine means what? The three cylinders like this and three cylinder like this in form of V, making a shape of V. 3 3 6. So what is the firing order in such case? Again, these are the options. Go through the options. So the correct answer is fourth one, 143 625. 143 625. Okay. For inline engine, 153 624. For V6 engine, 143 625. Now, which of the following are the types of lubrication system used in an engine? Splash lubrication, modified splash lubrication, full pressure system, all of the above. Lubrication is done to reduce the friction inside the engine. When the parts rub with each other, then friction occurs, which can reduce the efficiency of the engine. So, which type of lubrication system is used in an engine? All these types are used. Splash is also used, modified splash is also used, full pressure system is also used. So, all these three are the correct answer. The main job of lubricant oil in lubrication system is it reduces the sliding friction, it reduces the rolling friction, both 1 and 2, it enhances the engine cooling. What is the main job? I already told. Main job is it reduces the friction. So both 1 and 2 means inside the engine system there are some sliding parts. The outer surface of piston slides on the inner surface of the cylinder, as well as rolling friction is also there because bearings are there, ball bearings are there inside the engine. For example, this crankshaft, the bearings are applied on the crankshaft so that easily it can spin. So both these types of frictions can be reduced by the help of lubricant oil. What is the main job of oil filter in lubrication system? Oil filter is employed normally. So what is the job? To continuously filter the lube oil from debris and particulate matters mixed in it while operation. First is this: to circulate the oil all around the engine, to filter the oil from large carbon particles 1 and 3. What is the correct answer? Job of oil filter in lubrication system. The answer is 1 and 3. See, whenever engine runs, so what happens? Due to rubbing, some amount of material is abrased, mixed up with oil. So all the debris and those metallic particles are filtered by the help of oil filter, as well as large carbon particles are also developed when the engine runs. So those are also filtered. However, to circulate the oil around the engine, this is not the job of an oil filter. Okay. What is the job of oil pump in lubrication system? To pump the oil through the piston rings, to pump the oil all around the engine wherever lubrication is required, to pass the lube oil through oil filter 2 and 3. Okay, so the correct answer is 2 and 3. So wherever the lubrication is required, means oil has to be sent. So the oil pump does its job, means sending the oil there, and it also sends the oil to the oil filter so that whatever the debris or metallic particles are collected in the oil, they can be filtered out by the help of oil filter. Now, what is the order of phases of combustion in a CI engine? Phases or stages, whatever you say. So when combustion occurs, then what are the different phases? Correct order of phases: ignition delay, controlled combustion after burning. Ignition delay, controlled combustion, uncontrolled combustion after burning. Ignition delay, uncontrolled combustion after burning, controlled combustion. Ignition delay, flame propagation, uncontrolled combustion after burning. So what is the correct answer? The correct answer is ignition delay is the first phase, then uncontrolled combustion, second phase, then controlled combustion, third phase, and then after burning is the fourth phase. These are the phases of combustion in CI. The inlet valve when IC engine opens just at the beginning of suction stroke, a slide before the suction stroke starts, a slide after suction stroke starts, maybe 2 and 3 according to requirement. Actually, this question is connected to valve timing diagram of an engine. So, what is the correct answer? So, the correct answer is a slide before the suction stroke starts. Means when the exhaust stroke ends, then the next stroke is suction stroke. Slide before the suction stroke, the inlet valve starts opening. The exhaust valve of an IC engine closes just at the end of exhaust stroke. A slide before exhaust stroke ends, a slide after exhaust stroke ends, any of 1, 2, and 3 according to requirement. So, what is the correct answer? The correct answer is a slide after the stroke, exhaust stroke ends. Means, what is exhaust stroke? The exhaust gases are expelled out from the cylinder. Piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center. So when it reaches the top dead center, exactly at the same time, the exhaust valve doesn't closes. It remains open up to a while after the exhaust stroke ends. Okay, so this is what the correct answer is. The electrode gap of a spark plug in SI engine is kept around 1 mm, around 1.6 mm, around 0.6 mm, around 0.2. What is the correct answer? Normally kept. Answer is around 0.6 amp. Now, the voltage cut for generation of spark in SI engine is around 1000 volt, around 12 volt, around 20,000 volt, depends on spark plug gap. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is around 20,000 volt. So this much voltage is required so that blue colored thread of spark can be developed for ignition purpose. Which component in ignition system step ups the voltage? Actually, 20,000 volt is required, and in case we are using a battery is only of 12 volts. So we want to increase the voltage from 12 volt to 20,000 volts. So what is the component in ignition system which does this job? Capacitor, transformer, induction coil, contact breaker. What is the correct answer? Correct answer is induction coil. Okay, so induction coil does this job, increasing the voltage from lower volt to 20,000 volt, around 20,000 volt it can generate. Which component of ignition system is responsible for maintaining the firing order of multi-cylinder engines? Means in case there are several cylinders, suppose it is 4-cylinder engine, then 1342 is the firing order of the four cylinders. So this is maintained by which component? Distributor, contact breaker, ignition coil, none. So what is the correct answer? Correct answer is distributor. That is called as distributor. Now, which ignition system needs no battery for working? In case there is no battery, CDI system, magneto ignition system, contact breaker type ignition system, none. What is the best correct answer? It is magneto ignition system. This doesn't require any battery for its operation. Now, with increasing temperature, the knocking tendency of CI engine increases, while for SI engine it reduces. The knocking tendency of SI engine increases, while for CI engine it reduces. The knocking tendency of CI and SI engine reduces. Both. The knocking tendency of CI and SI engine increases. So, with increasing temperature, what is the correct answer? The correct answer is the knocking tendency of SI engine increases with increasing temperature. However, for CI engine, the knocking reduces. Now, CDI for an SI engine stands for capacitor discharge ignition, capacitor distributed ignition, capacitor diode ignition, none. So, CDI is actually connected with the ignition system of SI engine. So, what is the correct answer? Correct answer is capacitor discharge ignition. Now, with increasing temperature, the knocking tendency of CI engine reduces due to less fuel is left for burning in afterburning phase, reduction in ignition delay phase, reduction in extent of uncontrolled combustion phase 2 and 3. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is 2 and 3. Means we know this thing that there are four phases of combustion in CI engine: ignition delay, uncontrolled combustion, controlled combustion, and afterburning. So actually, with increasing temperature, the ignition delay period reduces, and due to that, the uncontrolled combustion phase, the extent of uncontrolled combustion phase also reduces. Actually, knocking occurs in uncontrolled combustion phase only. Okay, so in case the extent of uncontrolled combustion is reduced, the knocking reduces. Okay, so that can be controlled by reduction in ignition delay phase. So this reduction in extent of uncontrolled combustion phase is actually consequence of this reduction in ignition delay phase. So the correct answer is 2 and 3. The job of radiator in cooling system of an engine is to radiate the heat of engine in form of radiation, to cool down the coolant, both 1 and 2, none. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is to cool down the coolant. Okay. So it is not like this. The name is radiator, so it is radiating the heat. The main job is to cool down the coolant. So what is the job of coolant? It takes the heat of engine cylinder and comes to the radiator. Over there, it dispenses the heat, again cools down, and again it is ready to cool down the engine cylinder like this. Okay. So continuously the coolant circulates between the engine cylinder and radiator by the help of a pump. So from the engine head, it takes the heat, and from the radiator, it dispenses the heat to the atmosphere. Then again comes back from the engine head, it takes the heat and goes back to the radiator to dispense the heat to the atmosphere. Now, for a cooling system, which of the following is incorrect? Okay, the coolant is not allowed to pass through the radiator in the beginning of engine operation till a threshold temperature is reached. Try to understand. When the engine is just started, at that time, coolant is not allowed to pass through the radiator. The pump circulates the coolant through the water jacket and the radiator. Cylinder is surrounded by a water jacket. So through that water jacket and radiator, the pump circulates the coolant. The cooling fan cools the engine head by blowing air. Additives are added to reduce the corroding property, reduce the freezing property, and enhance the heat absorbing property of the coolant. Corroding property means what? That coolant must not chemically combine with the material of the cylinder. So rust may not be developed like this, and it must not freeze. If it will freeze, if it will freeze, it will become solid. So no more flow can take place, as well as heat absorbing capacity must be enhanced. So which of the uh, options is incorrect? It is the third one. Actually, cooling fan doesn't directly blows the air to engine head. Directly, the cooling fan doesn't cool the engine head. So third one is incorrect. What is cutoff ratio of a CA engine? Cutoff ratio. While executing working stroke, it is the ratio of the volume at which fuel injection stops to the clearance volume. I have applied brackets. Okay. So the ratio of the volume at which fuel. fuel injection stops, means fuel injection starts from the injector and then it stops to the clearance volume. While executing working stroke, it is the ratio of the volume at which the fuel injection begins. In the previous option, it was stop. Now it is begin to the clearance volume. While executing working stroke, it is the ratio of the volume at which fuel injection stops to the stroke volume, none. So, what is the cutoff ratio of a CI engine? The answer is while executing working stroke, it is the ratio of the volume at which the fuel injection stops. Means from the injector, diesel starts coming. So it starts coming and stops. So up to the time it stops, the piston moves up to a certain volume. Okay. So that volume divided by the clearance volume. Clearance volume means what? When the compression is taking place, so the end of compression. So at the end of compression, whatever volume is, that is clearance volume. So the ratio of the volume at which the fuel injection stops to the clearance volume is called as cutoff ratio of CI. Now, what is expansion ratio of CI engine? The ratio of the volume at the end of working stroke to the clearance volume. The ratio of the volume at the end of working stroke to the cutoff volume. The ratio of the volume at the end of working stroke to the end of compression stroke, none. So what is the correct option? The correct option is this one, the ratio of the volume at the end of working stroke to the cutoff volume. Now, if RK, RC, RE denotes the compression ratio, cutoff ratio and expansion ratio of C engine, what is the relation between the three? RK, RC and RE. RK equals to RC into RE, RC equals to RK into RE, RE equals to RC into RK. Which one is the correct option? RK compression ratio, RC cutoff ratio, RE expansion ratio. Correct is this one, first option. The compression ratio of CI engine is the product of cutoff ratio and expansion. The RPM of the shaft of an engine is 600. The torque at the shaft is 90 Newton meter. What is its brake power? This is a numerical question. What is its brake power? The formula of power of any shaft, not only for IC engine. This formula is applicable for a motor shaft also, electrical motor shaft also. 2 pi nt upon 60, n is the RPM, t is the torque. So in case you are putting the values of n is 600 and t is 90. So putting those, ultimately you will get this answer, 5.65 kilowatt. Now, the indicative power of an engine is 53 kilowatt, while the brake power is 42 kilowatt. What is its mechanical efficiency? Simple. Mechanical efficiency is given by brake power upon indicative power. Okay. So 42 upon 53. So you will get the answer 79%. Now, the current value of fuel input to an IC engine is 45,000 kilojoule per kg. The fuel consumption rate The fuel consumption rate is 2 gram per second. If the brake thermal efficiency is 26%, what will be the brake power? Can you calculate? Correct answer is 23.4 kilowatt. First of all, find out that how much heat input rate is. So calorific value is 45,000 kilojoule per kg. However, 2 gram per second, it means 0.002 kg per second of fuel is consumed inside the cylinder. So multiplying the two, you will get how much amount of heat power input. Okay, and that is in kilojoule per second. We will obtain the amount of heat power input to the engine. So here it is coming out 90 kilowatt. Okay, and brake power is what? We know this thing that brake thermal efficiency, brake power upon heat input to the engine. Okay, so brake thermal efficiency is given, that is 26%. So 0.26 into the heat power input, that is 90 kilowatt, will give the brake power. So 23.4 kilowatt is the answer. What is octane number? An index which tells the anti-knock property of a CI engine fuel, and an index which tells the anti-knock property of SI engine fuel. Number of carbon molecules in isooctane, which is SI engine fuel, none. Correct answer is index which tells the anti-knock property of a SI engine. Means if SI engine fuel is there, then how much It has anti-knock property. How much it is less prone to knock inside the engine. So that is determined by octane number. If a fuel has 100 octane number, it is the best fuel for SI. What is C10 number? An index which tells the anti-knock property of a CI engine fuel, and an index which tells the anti-knock property of SI engine fuel, number of carbon molecules in C10, which is SI engine fuel, none. C10 number is, it is for CI engine fuel. In case CI engine fuel is there, say diesel, then we use C10 number to judge the quality of the fuel, anti-knock property of the fuel. What is stratified charge engine? An engine in which only rich mixture of charge is used. Rich mixture means what? Compared to that of stoichiometric, compared to that of balanced mixture, amount of fuel is more in air. An engine in which lean mixture of charge is used. An engine in which the charge at immediate surrounding of spark plug electrode is rich. An engine in which charge at immediate surrounding of spark plug electrode is lean. What is stratified charge engine? Correct answer is this. That in stratified charge engine, which is a special sort of engine, what happens? The immediate surrounding of the spark plug electrode, over there the mixture is rich compared to that of the surrounding which is other than the immediate surrounding. Okay. So this is what a stratified charge engine is. So actually by this way, the fuel efficiency of the engine. Now the compression ratio of a SI engine is 7. Determine its thermal efficiency. Take gamma to be 1.4. So what will be the correct answer? The correct answer is 53.9%. How it has come? See, the efficiency expression for SI engine is given by 1 minus 1 by Rk to the power gamma minus 1. Here Rk is the compression ratio, that is 7, and gamma is the specific heat ratio, that is 1.4. So putting all the values, you will get 53.9%. What is the range of temperature of a CI engine exhaust? Means in the exhaust stroke when exhaust gases are coming out, what is the range of temperature? 200, 300, 350 to 450, 550 to 650, 650 to 750. What is the correct answer? Correct answer is 550 to 650 degrees centigrade. This is the range of a CI engine exhaust. What is the range of temperature of a SI engine exhaust? Correct answer is 400 to 600 degrees centigrade. Now, with increasing temperature, the knocking tendency of SI engine increases because multiple flame fronts from various points of hot cylinder starts propagating. The rate of chemical reaction between fuel and air increases, both 1 and 2, none. What will be the correct answer? The correct answer is both 1 and 2. See what happens? That when the temperature of cylinder rises, then normally the flame must start from the electrode gap of the spark plug. But since cylinder temperature is too much high, so in case a threshold temperature is crossed, then from the inner walls of the cylinder, new flame fronts starts progressing. Okay, this is due to very high temperature. Okay, so this is not normal. And secondly, in case the temperature of cylinder rises, then the reaction between air and fuel becomes fast because any chemical reaction, in case temperature rises, it becomes fast. So due to this thing, the knocking starts occurring. Which of the following exactly defines the knocking of an engine? Either it is CI or SI. What exactly knocking is? While combustion, the pressure rise per unit time in the cylinder must be smooth. In knocking, it is very sharp. Means when the combustion occurs, then the pressure inside the cylinder, pressure rise takes place. So with respect to time, it must be gradual, it must be smooth or very sharp. First option is this. While combustion, the pressure rise per unit time in the cylinder must be sharp, but in knocking, it is gradual or smooth. While combustion, the flame must travel through the entire cylinder. In knocking, flame extinguishes in between. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is this. While combustion, the pressure rise per unit time in the cylinder must be smooth, must be gradual, but in knocking, it is very, very sharp. Okay, means very fast pressure rise takes place. Now, effectively, the knocking occurs in which phase stage of combustion in SI engine? Initial lag, flame propagation after burning, any stage. These are the three phases of combustion in SI engine. So, in which phase or stage knocking occurs? The answer is after burning. Okay. Now, effectively, knocking occurs in which phase stage of combustion in CI engine? So, actually, there are four phases of combustion in CI engine: ignition delay, uncontrolled combustion, controlled combustion, after burning. So, which is the phase or stage at which the knocking occurs in CI engine? The answer is uncontrolled combustion. Now, which is the engine whose thermodynamic cycle is dual cycle? Petrol engine, low speed diesel engines, low speed petrol engines, high speed diesel engines. The correct answer is high speed diesel engines. Okay, so for petrol engine, the thermodynamic cycle is Otto cycle. For diesel engine, it is diesel cycle. But in case it is high speed diesel engine, then it runs on dual cycle. Assertion 1, the power by weight ratio of petrol engine is higher than that of diesel engine. Assertion 2, due to high compression ratio in diesel engine, the components are made strong and heavyweight to bear the pressure rise and forces. These are the two assertions. So 1 is correct and 2 is correct explanation. 1 is correct, however 2 is not correct explanation. Only assertion 1 is correct, only assertion 2 is correct. So out of these four, which option is correct? The correct option is assertion 1 is correct, as well as assertion 2 is correct explanation of assertion 1. It means what? That the power developed by an engine divided by its own weight is called as power by weight ratio. So diesel engine runs at higher compression ratios. So since higher pressure is there in diesel engine, components are made heavy and strong. So for same amount of power development, the diesel engine will have lesser power by weight ratio compared to the petrol. So these were the questions in part 2. So hope you would have gained something by this MCQ video. Thank you.